waiting to log into Google, real quick, for those of you who don't know, launchers are no longer a group, or no longer the group we're referring people to. So if you got in, you were considered a launcher, you're the last of the launchers. The next group of people in the program are going to be called Rocketeers. All right. Which is pretty cool. There's going to be some slight changes to the comp plan. It's not major, it's not the end of the world. We've got some people who are, how do I want to put this? We got people who are making money for doing nothing. So that's going to go away. But the comp plan is not what we're really here about anyway. We're about this product, which is the most important thing. And as soon as we can get online, are we on? Good. We'll start talking about that. I will mention the comp plan again, but that is not important. What's important is this. About 14 months ago, longer than that, about a year and a half ago, I guess April of 2024, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, hey, we are going to be building a crypto mine all over Texas, and we're going to be mining our own cryptocurrency. And he said all kind of words I didn't understand about mega hash, and I don't even remember half of them. But he's like, we're going to do this thing. If you give me $1,000, you might make some money, you might lose your $1,000, we don't know. So like an idiot, I gave him $1,000. And he gave me this little coin-looking thing. Some of you probably already seen them. And he didn't tell me what it was. They just sent it to me in the mail. I threw it in a file. I hid it because I did not tell my wife that I spent $1,000. So I hid it in a file, stuck it in the middle of my briefcase, wrote Texit on it in little letters, and forgot about it. Went through, the next 3 or 4 months, talked to some buddies of mine and said, y'all, I put $1,000 in this thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to make some money. Maybe I'm going to lose my money. I don't know. And they were like, none of them said, hey, can I throw $1,000 away with you? They all said, let me know how that goes. So about August of that year, the 2024, I called up my buddy Eddie, who told me about this originally, and I said, hey man, so what's going on with this mine thing you got me in? He says, let me tell you how you can look at your wallet. So I pull out this coin thing and I scan it. If you buy a share, people will teach you how to do all this. It's real simple, but right now it sounds like some crazy bunch of stuff. I scanned it and it said I had $6,800 worth of these coins. So I was like, well, obviously I don't know what I've got my hands on. And even for several months after that, I really still didn't realize it, but I'm going to tell y'all the secret and what happened. Eddie has a friend named Bobby Gray. Bobby Gray, in my opinion, is the smartest human being I've ever known. Bobby was a gold and silver guy. He was trying to get people to use gold and silver in municipalities as a local currency. And the way he tells it is, he's going around Texas because he was making gold and silver coins. He actually made the Ron Paul coin. Anybody ever seen that? Nope. How about the Bitcoin coin? Yeah, there's a Bitcoin coin there. That's a Bobby Gray invention. But he's making these coins. He's trying to get municipalities to maybe make the Mansfield coin, and we all carry around little Mansfield coins and buy stuff from each other with them. Nobody's really jumping on that bandwagon. And the way he tells it is he's riding his gold and silver horse and buggy, and the Bitcoin rocket just went right by him. Goes over somewhere in the Middle East, or sorry, not Middle East, the Far East. Some guy who nobody's ever actually seen and has a name that might be real and might not be, made something called Bitcoin. And Bitcoin struggled at first, but it eventually took off. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, you know they're selling for about $110,000 a coin, per coin now. So he started watching that. He started making products for the cryptocurrency industry. And he decided, I think I could do this just as well as they do it. So he started putting together an idea to build this mine. And what he did was he built a section of it and started mining for coins, and then started talking to his friends and their friends, and people started giving him money to buy a share of this mine. Those coins came out on the market in May of 2024 at 2.8 cents a coin. At 2.8 cents, as you can well imagine, it takes a lot of them to make any money. As of today, this is August 2025, essentially 15 months later, they're worth about $2.15 a coin. So those of us who had mine shares way back then have been making coins all that time. We've got a lot of them. At first, they weren't worth any money. But by the time they get to 215, they're worth something, and you've got some money. And we're at about 5% of the mine sold. Now, why are we selling mine shares? Well, if we're already making the coins and we're already making money, do we need more mine shares? And the answer is yes. And the reason for that is, in the cryptocurrency world, the bigger the mine, the bigger the coin. Because you need redundancy in case part of your mine goes down. Let's say we're actually getting ready to set up a phase of the mine in Victoria. We're going to do one in Gonzales, and we're now probably going to do one in Mansfield. I just found that out this week. They found a piece of property in Mansfield they think we can put a section of the mine on. Why would we do that? Well, we're decentralizing the mine so that if the power grid goes down in McKinney, the mine can keep mining because we've got redundancy. The other thing is, if those of us who have traded some Texit coin can tell you, right now, if I do a transaction with Texit coin, it takes about 10 minutes for it to go through. Once we get 100 million megahash mine built, it'll only take milliseconds for it to go through because it'll do all these transaction verifications instantly because we'll have this huge mine building these coins across the state. So what had happened was, because he had built that, we had built the mine and they had started selling these coins on Dextrade at 2.8 cents and people started buying them, the value went up. By the time I looked at mine, I had $6,800. So I thought that was it. I'm gonna make this money. And I was like, this is great. So I decided, I need to do something besides just make the money. I need to tell people. What I didn't know was that there is a compensation plan. Now, I completely, remember, I bought this thing thinking I might lose my money. So I stumbled into it that way. Second thing I did was I called some buddies. And some of them thought, well, they had a problem. They were experiencing something called FOMO. Anybody know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out. So I called them up and I told them what I like to call a Southern fairy tale. I said, y'all ain't gonna believe this, instead of once upon a time. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. And told them, and they all bought shares. So I'm happy my buddies are gonna make this same money. We're doing great. It's gonna be a cool thing. Then I get a call from the guy who told me about this in the first place, a guy named Eddie Allen. By the way, he told me it was $1,000 a share. The shares are actually $9.95. He still owes me $5. Yeah, he's going to give me that $5 one of these days. But so what happened was Eddie called me and said, hey, they're going to give you more mine power because you told people about it. I said, really, how much more? He said, well, because you told 3 people, they're going to give you another share. So now you're going to have 2 shares instead of 1. You'll be making twice as many of the coins. And I thought, well, that's really cool. So I called some more buddies. The next week I get another call from Eddie and he says, hey, how do you want your bonus? And I said, what bonus? He said, well, there's a bonus thing, it's a commission deal and I don't really like it. It makes me think of Amway or something like that. I hate it. But you earn the bonus so you're gonna get it. And I said, dude, why didn't you tell me about that? He said, man, I don't like the thing. I said, well, I'm thinking, it's going to be $150 like when you refer your friend to the bank or something. So I said, well, how can I get the bonus? He said, well, I can give it to you in Texit coin. I can give it to you in Bitcoin. He named all this other crypto. He said, or if you want to, because we were really small at the time, He said, I can sell it to you, because he sells me gig money when we play gigs. So I said, well, how much is it? Because if it was 150 bucks, I was going to say, buy some more Texit coin, put it in that wallet. Let's see if it keeps going up. What the heck? He said, oh, it's $1,000. And I was like, well, sell it to me. I wasn't stupid enough not to take it. But I say all that to say this. If you buy a share of the mine and you start making these coins every day, and you don't want to tell somebody about it, you don't have to, ever. There's no responsibility to tell anybody. There's no penalties if you don't. This thing's going to make these coins for the next 135 years. I will not predict how much money you're going to make, but I will tell you what it's done. My wife has a single share that I paid $9.95 for in August. So that's 1 year, right? Right now, I'd have to look because the coin's been going up and down between 210 and 215. But when it's at 215, there's $26,000 worth of coins in that wallet. She's never referred anybody. We've never bought any more mind power. That's a single share. Will it do that over the next year? I don't know. I can't predict what it's going to do in the next year. I don't have a crystal ball. I couldn't have predicted this. Nobody else predicted $26,000 off of a single share a year ago. Matter of fact, what they like to say is, on average, you should break even, get your $9.95 back within 200 days. Anybody here take 200 days to get your money back? Everybody I know has gotten it back a lot faster than that. So that's the main thing you need to understand. If you buy a share or shares, you can buy multiple up to 9. You can actually, now you can buy 27 apparently. I'm not even sure how that works yet. It's a new program. But if you buy shares, it's just like you and your friends bought a silver mine and everybody got a single share and there was 10 of you. And the silver mine puts out 10 ounces of silver a day. Each of you gets 1 ounce. If you have more shares, you get more than 1 ounce because you've got more of the mine than somebody else. And it's that simple. It's residual income for the next 135 years. Is it a risk? That's the first question people like to say. Well, it sounds risky. It is. You can't make $26,000 off $1,000 in a year on something that doesn't have any risk. This just doesn't happen. If you're super risk averse, buy a CD, make 5%, for the next 2 years. That's not attractive to me. And the real reason we're doing this, and the real reason these cryptocurrencies go up in value, is not that the dollar is stable. The dollar is actually going down slightly in value all the time, right? Is a $300,000 house today worth $300,000 more or $200,000 more than the $100,000 you paid for it 20 years ago? Is it a better house? Did it get better? No. What's happened is the dollar's gone down. Because we mine this cryptocurrency and because it only makes 90 to 100,000 a day, it tends to go up in price. Does it fluctuate a little? Sure, people are buying and selling them. Right now there's so few on the market, we can't even really use them as currency except to buy from each other. Our long-term goal is to be used as a currency all over the state, hence the name Texit coin, right? And that happens, you own part of the bank. You're actually producing the currency that people are using around the state. And one of the reasons banks don't like us is they can't make any money on this thing. Anytime you swipe a credit card, that credit card company is making about 3% on that transaction. With cryptocurrency, I can give Noom, I can buy a bicycle from Noom with 30 Texit coin, just picking a number out of the air, drop that Texit coin into her phone, and she's got the Texit coin. I lost it, it's gone for me, and the bicycle's mine, and you're going to pay less than a penny for that transaction. Now, the transactions do go up as the coins get to be more popular. I've been told you can barely transact any Bitcoin now for less than $4 a transaction. But ours will hopefully stay low, and our long-term goal, again, is for people to actually use it in currencies in Texas. We already have 2 cities talking about layering onto our coin when there's enough of them, McKinney and Gonzales. If that happens, again, it's going to take off because in Texas, Texans don't like for somebody, Texans in Fredericksburg don't like people in Gonzales have something they don't have. You know, it just doesn't work. They don't, matter of fact, if you get a bigger AR-15 than them, they're going to go buy a new one. So that's the bottom line of what we're doing as far as the product goes. The coolest thing about it is you're buying a share of the mine and you never have to buy anything else. However many shares you buy, they're going to produce a certain amount of coins a day. Now, the more of us are mining them, the less coins it'll make a day. But what's happened so far is as the coin price has gone up, even though you're making a little less coins because we're sharing them with more people, your actual value just continues to go up, and up. I'll give you a second example of that. I showed you my friend, anybody here know Troy Dorsey? World famous Troy Dorsey. Really? Wow. He's famous in Mansfield and around the world as a kickboxer, boxer, and karate guy. He's the only person to win world titles in all three. He's a good friend of mine. He bought we used to have a deal where you could buy 3 and get 1. He bought that. He's already cashed out his $3,000 he spent on that about 2 months ago. He's already back over $12,000 for his original $3,000, and he's made his money back already. He's playing with house money. He never has to buy another thing, ever, ever, ever. That mine is going to make more coins every day. Is it overnight? Do you get rich in 3 weeks? No, you don't. But if you stick with it, don't spend the coins, watch them go up. You can even buy more coins if you want. Watch them go up as you make them. Eventually, you're going to make money on the deal, and eventually you're going to break even. Eventually, you're going to double your money, triple your money, etc. Most of the people I've known that have been in more than 90 days have more than broke even, and most of them, I've never had anybody say I didn't break even in 90 days. No, never. Now, is that going to happen the next 90 days? I don't have a crystal ball. If I had a crystal ball, we wouldn't have to worry about this. I could just tell you what to do, and we'd just all be millionaires. So, how does that work that they gave me the $1,000 and they gave me the extra mind power? This is the least important thing I'm going to tell you tonight. Okay? The most important thing is if you want to buy shares in this mine and make this cryptocurrency and take a chance that we're going to be the next currency of Texas, then this is a good opportunity to risk some money. That's the most important thing. All the rest of this stuff is just marketing. Part of what Bobby wanted to do was he did not want 2 or 3 big billionaires to finance his mine and have control over it. What he wanted to do was what's called crowdfunding. Now, you guys have all heard of crowdfunding. I'm sure I've never participated in one before. I don't really understand what it means. But what it means in our case is everybody in this room how many people already own shares? How many people are already shareholders? All right. So that's about half the room. That's great. That's a great number for a meeting like this. So out of those people you're looking at, everybody's making some of these coins every day, and we're all in a big community together owning these shares. There's 7,000 of us right now. There will be about 150,000 of us when the mine sells out. This next thing I'm going to show you is going to go completely away when we hit that number, okay? Once we hit 150,000, actually it's not 150,000, it's 1 million shares. Once we hit 1 million shares, we're done. The mine's going to be 100 million mega hash because each share is 100 mega hash, which is kind of like horsepower in computer language, crypto language. Once we get to 1 million shares, we're done. So why are we all here? Well, why did we tell you about it? Well, remember I said they gave me more mind power for calling my buddies? They have a program called 1, 2 Free. Simple program. When I got to that third buddy, which was my buddy Tony, they gave me another share of the mine. So now I was making 2 times the coins I was making before. When I got some more buddies in, every time I referred 3 people, they give me some more mine share. Every time I refer 3 people, I've referred, by the way, 73 so far. That doesn't, on paper, I've referred 82, but some of those are people who bought what's called 9 shares. I get 2 extra referrals for that. And they also, some of them are actual shares I bought for family members, so I paid for them, so I don't count those. But they kept giving me, every time I would refer somebody, 3 people, they'd give me some more mind power. They're going to continue to do that. Every time you refer 3 people, you get more mind power. Well, why did they send me $1,000? Well, they have another program. Remember, here's me, right? I had 3 buddies that had bought shares, And when I matched 3 points on each of those single shares was a point. When I matched 3 points on each side, they sent me $1,000. If you match 6 points in a week on each side, they send you $2,000. If you match 9 on each side, they give you $3,000. Do you have to put those 9 points in yourself? It depends on who you're working with. If you're working with somebody who's referring people also, the person who referred you will actually be putting some of those points in for you. Will they do it all for you? No. And they can't do it all for you because here's the change for those of us who've been in a while. For people who are new in this new group of, we used to have something called cash potential. Now we're calling it commission potential. So here's the deal. Let's say you put in 3 people and got your new mind share. Actually, if you do it in the first 30 days, you get 2 new mind shares. That's called a quick start program. Let's say you did that, and the person you're working with is somebody like Noam, who's wearing the phone out every day and putting people everywhere. And she puts a bunch of people in your group. You might be eligible. At that point, you're eligible. You'll have what's called $3,000 of commission potential because you referred 3 people that bought single shares. They just round it off. Once you've received that in money, you have to refer some more people or you won't be able to get any other bonuses. That's the end of your bonuses. Now, the cool thing about that $3,000, you don't have to take it in cash. You can turn it in for 2 more shares. But that's all you can do with it. And again, once you've burned up the amount of money you've put into the program, you can no longer get a bonus until you refer some more people. So you can't ride whoever's above you or whoever's below you in your group that's working really hard and make money off of them. You have to at least do your part and keep your commission potential up where you can receive money. There are some people, I was just on a Zoom chat with some guys that we call the Texit Rangers, and there's some of them that hate this because they want to sit home and make a bunch of money and not do anything. I guess I don't really understand why they get so upset about it, but they don't like it. But the bottom line is, even though this kind of looks like a pyramid when I do this, right? That's what keeps it from being a pyramid. Is this guy at the top doesn't make anything if he doesn't have commission potential. He's done. If he just did, and there was a guy who did that early on, a guy named Josh, and he went on like a month vacation and just sat there and collected $3,000 a week. And we had to put a stop to that because at this point we need that money for advertising, and we need the shares to sell to people, not just give them away to people who aren't doing anything. So that's the commission plan. That's how that works. Again, that is not important in my personal opinion. That's some quick money. You can make some quick money doing the referrals. You never have to refer anybody. I would say 60% of the people I've personally referred have never referred anybody. And they call me up and go, hey, I just quadrupled my money. Hey, I just quintupled my money. Hey, can I come cash out some of my coins? Can you teach me how to sell them? Yes, we'll do that. That's another advantage to this. If you've been interested in the crypto world, but you have no idea where to start, there's a bunch of us who are familiar, me particularly, who learned it from being involved in Texit Coin, who will teach you all about it. Now, there's a lady somewhere in this area, I've been told, who charges $1,000 an hour to teach you about crypto. You can pay her or you can pay us $1,000 one time and we'll help you. We'll help you just because it's fun. I had a lady in here for an hour today. I was helping her figure out Coinbase and Kraken and Dex Trade and how to do what she wants to do with her crypto. So that's the other advantage of doing what we're doing. You're doing it with a bunch of other people and we're all a big community. I will say this, our ideals are pretty much what was called libertarian. One of the things I like about cryptocurrency is it cannot be controlled by the government. So that's good news, right? That it can't be controlled by the government, which means it's not what? Regulated by the government. Here's the bad news. It's also not regulated by the government. So it's not insured. There's more risk to it. But again, we've got a 15-month track record now from 2.8 cents to $2.15. There's predictions we're going to go much higher than that. I'm not going to make those predictions. But if you're willing to take a risk, put a little money out there and see what happens, it's been a life changer for me. It actually made me a millionaire about 3 weeks ago because of those extra shares. I keep getting those extra shares from referring people. I will say this. I always like to say this before I finish talking about Texit coin. If that number is going to mean your kids have to eat Kraft macaroni and cheese and ramen noodles, which they won't care, but you will, for the next 60 days because you just killed your budget, don't do this. Don't put money you don't have in this thing. That's just stupid. If that number means you're going to miss the house payment and you're going to be in trouble and have to pay late fees and go get a second job at 7-Eleven, I wouldn't do it. Don't put money in it you don't have. If I didn't have $1,000 that my wife didn't know about, I wouldn't have put it in it. And the cool thing is, by the time I told her that I'd done it, I had $6,800. She couldn't complain. But the bottom line is, if that's a big number to you, and it's been a big number to me in my life in the past. I just happened to be at the right place in life when this came along. Right place, right time. Dumb enough to give them $1,000 to take advantage of it. The other thing I'll say is, if you're a person of faith, and I'm not going to get into who you believe in and what you believe in, if you believe in Jesus or Buddha or the butterflies or whatever, spend some time in prayer and meditation before you do this. Make a decision based on what your spirit's telling you. If you're an atheist, I'd do this just for the chance of it. I mean, the whole world's a gamble to you. That's the bottom line. Every minute's a gamble if you're an atheist. So anyway, that's the bottom line of what we're doing. That's the bottom line of the marketing plan. I know the marketing plan, I went by it quickly. That's not important to me. What's important to me is I've got this mind making these Texit coins. They keep going up in value. I can tell you the biggest regret my friends have had that have signed up is how long some of them waited. As a matter of fact, Johnny's brother-in-law, he tells me every day, man, I wish you'd have talked me into this earlier. I said, I ain't talking you into anything. Your grandma could talk you right back out of it if I talk you into it. I just told you I was making money, and you kept saying, well, I don't know. But I think it's worth the risk, but I could afford to lose $1,000 when I did it. If you can't afford to lose $1,000, I wouldn't do it. But I'm not you. You have to do what's comfortable for you. Again, if you're real risk averse, go buy a CD and make 5% this year. Or actually, go buy some USDC, leave it in Coinbase. They'll pay you 4.5% on that currency. That's the bottom line of what we're doing. That's how it works. I know I didn't give you a ton of detail. I'll be glad to answer questions for you. If you're excited about this and want to give it a shot, get with the person that brought you. If they're not here, I'll be glad to be your sponsor. I'm just kidding. We'll put you in with them as your sponsor, and we'll get you started as quickly as we can. I'm going to open the floor to questions. Anybody?
Well, I just want to say thank you for Jay to support us here, and Jay's been very helpful with our team here, and he don't have to be here and do this with us, but he earned over $1 million points now, so and you can call that, and he can be at the beach, but he support us, and that's mean a lot to us, and I really said that, and that mean a lot to all of us here.
Well, thank you. I just enjoy doing this. Yeah, back really quick to the marketing plan. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Back to the marketing plan real quick. Remember I said something about you get 9 points? On each side you get $3,000 or 6 more shares. I get 9 points about 20 minutes after they total the last week's points at the beginning of the week because my group's so big. Now, I have to have commission potential to take that, right? Well, my commission potential right now is somewhere around $150,000. I don't think I'm going to outrun it, but it's possible I could outrun it. And even if I did, Texit Rangers aren't held to that. But I'm here because I enjoy this thing. I'm not here. I'm not going to make any more money for having been here tonight unless somebody walked in off the street and doesn't have a sponsor and wants me to be their sponsor. I will say this: if somebody invited you and you still want me to be your sponsor, I'm sorry, that ain't going to happen. That's not ethical. I'm not going to do it. I've had people ask me that. I don't do it. Matter of fact, you'd be better off with them because their contact list, warm contact list, is a lot shorter than mine, or a lot longer than mine at this point. At 73 people, I'm talking to people I hadn't seen in 40 years.